Rice from Eden Condensed Small Space Garden Design. And today I'm going to show you how to build your very own upside down tomato planter. Now I know it's a great way to save space if you live on a patio, if you have a patio or a balcony where you live and you don't have a lot of room to put big pots with tomatoes. You can buy one of those upside down tomato planters, but for less, like a couple of dollars, you can make your own planter, which is really great. So what you'll need is a 2-gallon bucket with a lid. These are made for putting paint in, so you can get this at a hardware store or a big box home store. But do make sure that it has a nice tight fitting lid. You'll need some window screen. So I have a piece of window screen here that I've cut out, and it's about maybe 3 or 4 inches. It depends on how big the hole you cut for your tomato plant. Some waterproof tape. I'm using electrical tape today. You'll need potting soil, a nice sharp utility knife. If you haven't changed the blade in your utility knife for a while, this is a great time to do it. And of course, the most important part, a tomato seedling. As far as the type of tomato seedling, there's 2 types of tomatoes. Some are called determinate, which means that they grow a certain height, they have a certain number of tomatoes, and then they stop growing. Those usually stay a little bit smaller, so you'll see them called patio tomatoes. I think in upside down tomato planters, those are probably the best ones. The other type is called an indeterminate one, which means it's going to keep growing and keep sprouting tomatoes. You'll get a lot more fruit on it, but it'll also be a lot bigger. So you may have the problem of it growing and continuing to grow and spread and be too big for your space. So the first thing that you'll want to do is, you'll notice on most of these buckets, there'll be kind of a circle here and then on the bottom as well. So you already have a built-in template. And I've started this, but you'll want to take your utility knife. Safety is always the #1 thing when using a sharp knife, so please make sure you know where your fingers are and that you're aware of what's going on when you're cutting. So I've already cut around most of this. I'm going to kind of finish this out here because the plastic is a little thick and we want to make sure we get a nice large hole in here and pop it through. So we'll take that out, and we do the same thing on the top of the bucket. And make sure I've cut this out too, make sure this is all open. One of these holes is the hole that the tomato will come out of. The other hole is how you're going to water it. Now you can take the lid off to water it, but I think it's a lot more convenient if the lid stays on and you just put the water in the hole. So now you have a bucket with a hole in the bottom here. And what you'll want to do is take your piece of window screen here, and this is going to hold your tomato plant in, especially when it starts to get a little heavier and full of tomatoes. And what you'll want to do is, you can use your utility knife. I'm actually going to use a pair of scissors here and just kind of do a couple of little cuts in it to put your tomato plant in. You can just make a V in there, and then that makes sort of a star-shaped cut in the window screen. Then what you'll do is you'll put your window screen inside the bucket and tape that in. So I'm going to center it at the bottom of the bucket, and you'll want to make sure that it's well taped in, so that way it doesn't come out and then your tomato plant doesn't. And so put several pieces of tape on the bottom and make sure that they're stuck down well. 2, and that should hold it. I'm going to put one more small piece of tape in there just so I know that it's in there well. It's sturdy. Okay, so now you've got window screen in here that I can poke a hole through. If it doesn't seem like you've got enough room for your tomato plant, then you can widen up the slots just a little bit there. Now the next thing you're going to do is put your soil in, or at least start your soil. I've got some soil in a big bag here. I'm going to pop that in. Make sure you've got it filled up pretty well. Smooth it out. And put your lid on to start off with, because you don't want to lose the soil as we pop it through, and you'll want to cover that over with your hand. Now, what we're going to do now is actually get this tomato plant into the container. So the reason I like to use these small seedlings is that it's easy to push them through the hole. And you may need to kind of adjust it and work it in with your fingers. It's okay if you lose some of the potting soil that's around there, but just give it a good shove and get it in there. Then you turn it upside down. You want to adjust it so that it's hanging straight. And then you can either tie a rope to it, you can put hooks or a chain in it, and then when you're ready to water, all you have to do is come over and put the water inside the pot. You don't even have to worry about taking the lid off. And then the tomato plant will continue to grow. Make sure you are putting this in an area of direct sunlight that has at least 6 to 8 hours of sun. You can also add tomato fertilizer through the hole as well, every 2 to 3 weeks or so, since this is in a container. And if you have any other questions about how to make your own upside down tomato planter, please let me know and contact me at www.edencondensed.com. Enjoy your tomatoes. Thank you very much.